So I've got one guy in front of me putting the sling up and the other guy holding me. So EMTs come in and there's somebody holding you. Hi, it's Nani, and welcome to the Chronicles of Nani. If you're looking at me and noticing that my hair is kind of disheveled and a mess, and I'm wearing my nightshirt, it's a new nightshirt, donuts, which is awesome with coffee. But the disheveled hair goes with the topic today, so be not afraid because right now I'm fine. I just want to look the part. First, let's make sure that I get my coffee in, because it goes with the donuts, and it's got to get me going at the cyber coffee shop. I sort of consider this the back of the coffee mug, and I'm going to show you a picture of the front, the part that I'm looking at. Because technically, I would call that a right-handed coffee mug, because the part that you're seeing is kind of divided and half words on each side. But I love things with words. That one says good morning all over the place, which is what I found attractive about the mug. That was a special mug because it was a mug that ended up being but let's look for something else. My friend Kelly, who I have known forever and ever, and I call her my platonic soulmate. We met when we both lived in Michigan. Now she's in Missouri, and I am in Ohio. And whenever we get together, we always buy a coffee mug. But on this given trip, my husband David and I had been close to St. Louis to chase a steam train, and Kelly came up to visit while we were in that area because she's farther south, but she drove up to where we were, and we went to Starbucks together and had coffee because that's what friends do. They have coffee together. Every time that we get together, we find a coffee mug to celebrate that time that we're together. And what we do is we pick the coffee mug. She buys one and I buy one, and then we trade them. So it is absolutely necessary that we formally trade coffee mugs. So we're buying each other's coffee mug. So it's our gift to each other to symbolize that this is something that we got to do together. Well, the Starbucks we were at, and not too far away from St. Louis, had Starbucks St. Louis coffee mugs. A couple years before that, we'd been on a girls' trip where we spent the weekend in St. Louis. We already had Starbucks St. Louis coffee mugs. So it was in a gift shop, and we were looking at coffee mugs, and I fell in love with that Good Morning Coffee mug. And I was really trying to encourage Kelly that we should get Good Morning Coffee mugs and trade them. And she said, nah, I don't know if that really says us. And it's like, well, sure, it says us. We stayed in the same hotel room. We said good morning to each other every morning. And she said, that doesn't really count. So we ended up picking a different mug that we traded, but I loved that mug so much that I bought that mug for me. So that's the memory that goes with that mug. I love the mug because I love anything that's quirky like that with lots of words on it and stuff. And it's it was just a very me mug, and I couldn't talk Kelly into making that our mug for that trip, but it was still my mug, and it still makes me think of her anyway. So I have 2 mugs from that trip that make me think of Kelly. But now the other thing with the Good Morning Coffee mug, and always remember, to a lover of coffee, it's 5 a.m. somewhere. But anyway, as far as the choice of mugs goes, I wanted something that made me happy, because it's not an incredibly happy topic. Although it's not a recent, we're talking about falling today, and it's not something so recent like that happened this week or happened today, and get ready for the earthquake, knock on wood, because I don't want it to happen. But talking about falling, and I'm pretty good at that. MS took me to all new heights as far as falling and bumping into things. For a long time, I had bandaged up knees, and I still have scars on both of my knees from having skinned my knees so many times. With me, it was I would actually not realize I wasn't stepping over a crack, and I would trip and I would fall on my knees, and I would end up with roughed up palms of my hands trying to stop the fall, and skinned knees. This was a long time before diagnosis. It was one of my earlier symptoms was the drop foot. But yeah, I had skinned knees a lot from that. Then also pre-diagnosis, but a little bit closer to diagnosis. In 2010, I had gone upstairs because I was cold. Our house is old and a little drafty, so I had gone upstairs to get a sweater. Well, there was one sweater that was sitting near the bed, and I wanted a different color. And I knew that the sweater that I wanted was hanging up in the closet. So I started to turn around to go towards the closet and completely lost my balance. This is the key. I just relaxed and let the fall happen. Biggest problem there was an area of the bed frame that was sticking out from beyond the mattress, and I realized that as I was falling, and that there was no way I was going to be able to avoid hitting it. That wasn't just a black eye, that was a black entire side of my face. It started swelling up pretty quick after that, and then by the next day I had bruising all over the side of my face. And that was in January of 2010. And that took about a month before my face didn't look really bad. In 2011, same sort of thing. I was getting something out of the freezer. I went to move when I was closing the door, and I lost my balance, and I fell face first into the freezer. And I think my glasses took the brunt of that, and I didn't really feel like I hit that hard. There was a spot where my glasses sort of gouged the side of my face. The next day, the other side of my face from 2010 was all bruised and another black eye, and I was in therapy at the time for my knee, which I also didn't know was an MS symptom just yet. And when I went in is when they started asking, does your husband make you feel safe? And I said, I had a black half of my face from a fall just a year ago, and it's the other side of my face this time, and my husband wasn't home either time. I actually had to call my husband and tell him that I fell, so that when he gets home and he sees my face swollen, that's what's going on, but I'm okay. I did a scrapbook page at the end of 2011 that was basically saying, this was me in 2010 in January. This was me in January of 2011. Let's not even have January of 2012. And I did get through January of 2012 without any more black eyes. So that was a good thing. But it definitely had a lot to do with learning that the best thing to do when you're falling or when you lose your balance is don't try to stop yourself from falling. Just let it happen. Because there's a greater chance that you're going to get up unharmed if you just let it go, than if you try to stop it and you tense yourself up. My big thing, and where the messed up hair goes with talking about falling, is that I have fallen out of the recliner I'm sitting in right now, or the recliner that I had before this one. I've fallen out of the recliner a couple of times. The reason that I fall out is because sometimes my back just gets kind of tense, and or my legs start to feel achy. And what I'll do is, it's lift recliner, I'll put my legs down on the floor to put a little weight on them and make them feel better. And I hold on to the sides of the chair and I bend forward, and then I put the legs back up and I stay in the chair, and it stretches me out and it helps me feel better. Sometimes I do that and I lose my balance and I can't keep myself in the chair and I start to fall forward. The first time that happened, David was actually out of town, and I had an aide that had left, and this was in the middle of the night. Actually, I remember looking at the clock. I think it was like 3 or 4 in the morning when it happened, and I lost my balance. The first thing that I did when I felt myself falling out of the chair is I let all of the muscles in my body go and let myself fall. I remember falling and being on the ground. And when I am in the recliner and I'm sleeping in the recliner, which I do feel more comfortable in the recliner than going onto the hospital bed, because if I can bend my knees and put my feet on the floor, I feel more in control. And I remember that for whatever reason I had a grabber in my hand. And when I fell sort of on the side, but with the table where my phone was behind me. And the way that I'd fallen, I had my left arm was on the outside of me, but my right arm holding the grabber were underneath me. And I cried and I screamed because I didn't know what I could do. I remember at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, because I remember having looked at the phone before I started moving. And when I fell, I actually, with the air conditioner running because it was summer and the windows closed and everything, and at a time in the morning that people are not out walking their dogs. But I do remember screaming, "If you're outside walking a dog, please call emergency for me." Because my brain wasn't really working. My brain was going through the, okay, trauma mode, what do I do? And then I calmed down and I started assessing what I could feel in my body. Nothing felt broke. Could I take a deep breath? Okay, deep breath, that means my lungs are okay. That means I'm not feeling any pain in my ribs. So I'm doing the basic check over to make sure I'm okay. Then I relaxed. When I relaxed my body, I was able to try to turn myself a little bit. I did manage to be able to lift enough of my own body weight that I could pull my arm out. And then I relaxed again and did the same thing so that I could pull my grabber out from underneath me. At which point I could reach behind me and my phone was on the table that was on wheels. Now my table on wheels has got a little lip on it. So the one thing that I was thinking I wanted to do was just grab it with the grabber to pull it up closer and shake it. Now, mind you, I'm doing this facing the opposite direction. But I'm figuring, okay, if I can get the phone to fall on the floor, then maybe I can grab it with the right arm and somehow get it around my head. What actually ended up happening is I realized as I'm shaking the table with the grabber, things are falling off the table and the phone where it's at is never going to fall off the table because of the lip. That's when I started seriously going into disaster mode. I'm told I'm a good person to have when there's a disaster because I start thinking and I react later. I did not do that this time because I was home alone. My first thought before I finally decided to try to shake the phone off of the table on wheels is that when my friend who was coming in for coffee with me in the morning, when she came in, she would be able to call 911. That's when the panic of, I don't want my friend to walk in and see me on the floor. So the whole just fall asleep and wait till my friend gets in, and it's like, no, I can't do that to my friend. That's when it finally hit me, because this is something that I'd used for a fall before. I have the Hey Siri on my phone. So I said, I'm gonna try that. And I yelled, "Hey Siri," as loud as I could. Nothing. Because remember, the phone is above me and behind me. So I tried again. I took a deep breath and I yelled, "Hey Siri." And then I heard that magical beep beep. And I said, "Call 911. And then I heard Siri's voice saying, "Calling emergency." And a lot of people, this is a fantasy. So I've got 2 EMTs, so 2 firemen basically, because they're all at the fire station that's not too far away from my home. And they got me in the sling and lifted me up, and I've got one guy in front of me putting the sling up and the other guy holding me. So EMTs come in and there's somebody holding you. And they got me into the chair and made sure I was comfortable. And I was okay. I felt safe. I felt like I'm not going to be in a position where my friend is going to come in for coffee in the morning and freak out because I'm on the floor. So they got me comfortable in the chair. They took my vitals. I told them that my blood pressure is probably going to be really high because I've been down on the floor screaming for the last few hours. Surprisingly, my blood pressure was normal. So grace under pressure, I did well. But no, I ended up with a lightly sprained right foot out of the ordeal, and that took care of itself because it would spasm and it would hurt like crazy. And as it spasmed some more, it was actually doing the, keep something still and then move it to get the sprain slowly to go back to normal. And my foot did that on its own. But the thing is, when I did fall, I ended up with a mild bruise on the side of my face. Nothing broken, a sprain, not even a strong sprain on one foot, and a mild bruise on the side of my face, because I let the fall happen. I didn't try to stop it. Once I knew that I was falling, there was nothing I could do to make it stop anyway. That was the first time, not the last time, because I've fallen a few other times. Most recently was in January of this year, but I do not have photographs of incredible black eyes like I've had in January's past, because I've learned how to fall better. So that is falling and the best way to fall. The good, the bad, certainly the ugly of falling. And on that note, hit subscribe, because the subscribing number goes up. That makes me smile some more. And I am watching that number go up. And thank you to every one of you that subscribes to this blog, because it makes me feel that I am reaching some people, and I'm making people that are in similar situations to me or have loved ones that are in similar situations feel a little bit better about that situation. So for this week, that's it. I am here every Friday when the vlog debuts at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the coffee shop, the Sidewalk Coffee Shop, is open 24/7, and you can watch anytime. And I welcome any time that you come and watch. So thanks a lot, and until next Friday, have a fantastic week.